What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate you waiting patiently. We're a little behind schedule today, but I was at the doctor's office with my wife this morning, just a general ultrasound, what's the word I'm looking for, appointment. All is well on that front, but ran a little long. So we are here. We are ready to go, and appreciate everybody for being here. Talking is hard. Happy Monday, everybody. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. Going to get to a lot of draft stuff today. I've got some updated draft targets I want to kind of take a look at. We're going to react to a PFF 3-round mock draft for the Bears. So lots to get into here on today's show. But Cullen, we are back. Second week of free agency, which kind of feels dead. There's not much going on. Christian Kirk to the Niners. The big news of the day, I guess, after the Justin Fields trade.
It's kind of become the norm that free agency, at least the first week and really the first couple of days, are where a majority of the moves happen. And then obviously you kind of get into Thursday, Friday. Like you'll get some big moves, like Rasheed Walker was signed last Friday. So you'll still get some like kind of bigger names. But once you get into that second week, I mean, it's like, oh, there is a signing. Like, oh, free agency is technically open. It's more of a shock than anything else. But for the Bears, it's going to be kind of interesting because while they did make some moves during free agency, which we'll highlight kind of in a segment later in today's show, there's still some moves that they can make. Will they look to address them in the draft? All stuff that we'll be kind of keeping you updated on here on Bears Now as we get closer to, what is it, April 18th is the draft?
I think it's the 25th.
25th.
I believe it's the 25th. Yeah, I mean, I think for the Bears, the primary focus shifts to the draft now. They'll, of course, continue to monitor the free agent market. But I also think, you get to a certain point where some of these free agents might just wait till after the draft to sign, like a Cam Jordan type. Clowney's been doing that for years, so unless he gets a good offer, he'll probably wait. So, we'll see. We'll see how the Bears approach that. Obviously, they haven't made a ton of moves on their defensive line, especially at edge. They've actually made zero at the edge position, so they've been kind of focused on attacking certain players they want in their back seven, which they've done pretty well with Kobe Bryant, Devin Bush, bringing back DeMarco Jackson, etc. So now the focus shifts to April's draft, and we'll see if they make a move or two between now and then via free agency or on the trade market. Get a few shout-outs here. We got Scott in Rantoul, Illinois. We got Shiloh, Illinois from the Materman. We've got Bog Dan in Romania. Detroit from Don Burr, who's back. He makes an appearance. Let's see. Taylor Ridge, Illinois is where Brian is. We got David in Elgin, Illinois. So shout out to the real ones for hanging out here on a Monday. And that brings us to the question of the day. What is the Bears' biggest need right now? The live poll question is kind of adjacent to that. Which position should the Bears draft at 25 overall? You guys let me know. I think it's really, you can debate three positions. Defensive tackle and edge, that's two of them, and then safety. I think those are the three biggest needs. I think after that, there's a little bit of a dip. You could still say linebacker is a need. Center is a long-term need probably, unless Garrett Bradbury has a great year and is the guy long-term. I don't think anyone thinks that's likely. He could have a good year, but I don't think it's super likely that he's the long-term answer at center. You could still say left tackle. You could say corner, but I don't think those are the biggest needs. I think right now, safety is one of them because you only have one starter right now. Defensive tackle, which you could roll with your same starters, Javon Dexter and Grady Jarrett, but even if you do, you don't have much depth there. I mean, Neville Gallimore is more of a DT4, in my opinion, than DT3. And then edge, where your starters are actually decent. Montez Sweat's a plus player. Austin Booker, if he continues to ascend, I think can be a solid starter, but you've got, not great depth. I mean, question marks with Dio Adengbo coming off the Achilles. You lose Dom Robb. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is still a free agent. Is Shamar Turner an edge? Is he a D-tack? When does he come back? Is he fully healthy? So I think defensive line and safety right now, Cullen, are probably the areas you're looking to attack hard in the draft if the draft falls your way if you're Chicago.
Yeah, and I think you could certainly make a lot of different cases as to where the Bears could potentially look to make another free agent signing kind of later as we get into the second week of free agency, maybe week 3 or beyond for that matter. What I'll say because to answer this question that we have on screen, what's the Bears' biggest need right now? I would say safety, only because A, I do expect it to get addressed, but B, Elijah Hicks not a starting caliber safety, at least in my opinion, in the NFL right now. So that is slated to be, as at least where we sit right now, one of the Bears' starting safeties alongside Kobe Bryant. Now, I'd be shocked if we get through day 2 of the NFL draft and the Bears haven't addressed safety in some kind of manner by then. So I'll say that for right now.
From a literal standpoint, the answer is probably safety.
Yes.
Because you do have, you could go to war with your starting defensive line right now.
Yes.
I don't think you want to play a game with Elijah Hicks as a starting safety.
Right.
And that's no disrespect to Elijah Hicks. I actually like him as a third safety. But, I think that's your literal biggest need. Now, I would still argue from a positional value, long-term, upside type of play. You want to get better in your front four. But, from that standpoint, you would say safety. But I do think it's a clear top 3. I don't think there's any question about that. So we'll kind of dive into all that as we go here on today's show. Don't forget to check out the merch. It's all still available. Plenty of sizes. Most of our merch sizes go up to 5XL. So if you're a bigger fellow like me, we got you covered. Chatsports.com/BearsShop. Link is in the live chat. Hoodies, T-shirts, hats. Check it out. Check it all out. Chatsports.com/BearsShop. The FGB, the Iceman, the beers. I know St. Patrick's Day, at least the celebration, has come and gone, but you can rock this stuff year-round, baby. It's just a good-looking shirt. So check it all out. Chatsports.com/BearsShop. All the FGB stuff, the R turn, the stuff's timeless. So get your gear today. Chatsports.com/BearsShop. Okay, TJ, March Madness pick. Also, how good will the Cubs be? I'm not like a Cubs expert, but I do have a decent feel on their squad. I think a realistic goal should be the NLCS. The Dodgers are going to be tough to beat, but I think adding Bregman, I think the Cubs' goal should be surpass the Brewers in the Central, win the division, and push for the NLCS. If you beat the Dodgers, go to the World Series, great. But if you're one of the last 2 standings in the teams standing in the NL, I think that'd be a really good year. I mean, obviously, I'm sure inside that clubhouse they're thinking World Series or bust, but I still think there's a gap between the Dodgers and everyone else, especially in the NL. So I'd say NLCS I think is a real achievable goal. As far as March Madness, I mean, I'm riding with the TCU Horned Frogs, but my real pick, I kind of like the draw Arizona got, and you could argue they're the best team already anyway. Plus, I think they got the best draw among the 1 seeds. So my gut saying Arizona. I have not filled out a bracket yet, but I will. That's my kind of early bracket breakdown reaction is Arizona wins it all. But I would say that all the 1 seeds are really good once again. Which was the case last year. Yeah, but I mean even more so.
Right.
It's the top that there's a growing disparity between the top teams in the last couple of years and everybody else. So I do think there will be a lot of chalk. I think there's a few upsets in the first round I like, but I got to take a deeper dive into it. But someone in the chat, Duke got a tough bracket. Yet the East region is brutal, Colin. I mean you got Duke, UConn, Michigan State, you've
Kansas.
got Kansas,
St.
John's.
Yep. Here, let me pull up the actual bracket.
I'm biased, but I think both for an 8-9 matchup, I think Ohio State TCU is pretty damn good with the way those teams have been playing coming into the tournament. So, I think the East region is by far the toughest. I think it's easily the toughest.
Number 1, Duke. You've got number 5, St. John's, as you mentioned, 4, Kansas. 6, Louisville is not even easy. Number 6 seed. 3, Michigan State. 2, UConn. UCLA's a sneaky 7.
They've been playing well.
And then you mentioned your Horned Frogs are in their tough draw, unfortunately.
9 out of 11 coming in. So, I think the East has the best team at each seed line, pound for pound in the bracket. You could argue Duke's the best overall team as a 1. I think UConn as a 2 is really stacked. St. John's is a 5. I mean, a lot of people thought they'd be a 4, if not a 3. You get Kansas, who is a little up and down, but when they're at their best, they're Final Four material. So it's going to be interesting. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. I will say, just Cubs, I think, agreed. As long as you avoid the Dodgers for as long as you can, your ceiling or the sky's the limit until you have to face LA.
Goal should be to surpass the Brewers this year.
Yeah, I would agree.
The way you've spent, I think they should be better than Milwaukee.
I would agree. I kind of, tease this a little bit. I still like Michigan. I think they got Arizona.
Oh, they're still really good.
Well, the thing is, too, is everyone's talking about Arizona's draw. Just on their side of the bracket, I don't really love Georgia or St. Louis. I mean, obviously, Michigan's going to take care of their 16.
Yeah, that 8-9. Compared to, TCU Ohio State, that's a much weaker 8-9 game.
Exactly. Texas Tech, they're without their best player. I know McCaslin's going to have those boys coached up, but they could easily lose
their ceiling
in that
is
first
much
weekend.
Lower. Yeah.
Alabama, they're, got some off-the-court drama.
Is the point guard going to play?
Yeah. Eventually, if they get down the line with Virginia and Iowa State, it can get tougher.
Iowa State's a good 2. I'm not a big Virginia believer. If you look at their resume, they don't have the wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Michigan's got a really good chance to come out of the Midwest and potentially play Arizona there in the Final Four. So.
Yeah, I think Florida and Duke got the tougher regions than the other 2 ones. Florida's got Houston as the 2 seed. They're loaded.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I can't wait. March.
And I have no influence on that pick whatsoever. None.
Alex in Albany, Oregon. Shout out to Alex. Thoughts on Zion Young? Good fit. Yeah, I think he's a good fit. I don't love him at 25, but I don't think you'll get him at 57. I think ideally, if you get him, I'd like to trade down and get him in the early 30s. I like him more between 30 and 40. 25, I don't think would be egregious, but I think there's better players in this draft. But it depends how the draft falls. If they end up with Zion Young at 25, I'd give that a solid B grade. The fit is good. I do think it's on the early part of his window of when he could get drafted. So, I think the Bears are going to have a group of players that they really like at 25. And if those guys aren't there, I think trading down would be ideal. Get some extra capital and, get into either late first round or that early second round range and take a player there. If you told me they traded back to 35 and took Zion Young, I would love that. Pick up a third-round pick in the process. So we'll see what happens. I do like the player, though. Sets the edge in the run game. Big physical defensive end. I do think he checks a lot of the boxes that a Dennis-Allen defense is looking for.
Sure. That being said, the off-the-field, DWI?
I've heard nothing about this, by the way.
Yeah.
No one's talked about it.
No one.
So I don't know.
Well, because again, the Bears, big character, they like to go in that background. Is he even on their board? Potentially?
Yeah, I know, but I don't understand why this wasn't brought up at the combine.
Right.
No one asked him about it for as far as I've seen. So I don't know if this is some situation that's been handled or if it's an ongoing matter that couldn't be discussed or what. But it was not really discussed. So. Obviously, any team that drafts him is going to have to look into that matter and see what's what. But I guess we'll find out more on that front, or we won't. I don't know. It's been very quiet for a guy who could go in the first round. You would think there'd be more discussion around it, but I have not heard hardly anything. So, Andres, $10, appreciate it. He says hypothetical but very unrealistic scenario. Thieneman and Mesidor are available at 25. Who would you take? I think in that scenario, I'm taking Thieneman. I would argue that all things considered, I'd rather go the pass rusher, but I think that this is where you have to factor in age. And if they're in the same tier of prospect, I think you got to take a 21-year-old over a 24, going to be 25-year-old. I just think safety's still a big need. He checks the box of versatile hybrid athlete who can really run. They're trying to get faster on defense. I think you'd have to go Thieneman there. I wouldn't be upset if they went Mesidor over Thieneman there, but I think there's greater risk with Mesidor in that scenario given his age and injury history. So I think you'd have to go Thieneman.
I will say Thieneman has risen up draft boards as we've gotten further along in the draft process. Obviously, his combine did him a lot of favors. I'm not sure if there's 15 draft prospects ahead of this guy.
For sure,
on
yeah.
the big draft board.
I think to Andres' point, just like in a wild scenario where
sure.
both are there.
That being said, if Thieneman's there, given your need at safety and all that, I think
kind of feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah, just the value in terms of, I mean, we'll see where Ryan Poles potentially has these guys on the board, but yeah, I mean, he to me is a game-changing safety at the next level. So I would go that. Mesidor is certainly, though, in play if the Bears do stay at 25.
Yeah, I mean, Thieneman turns 22 in August, so he'll just be 22 when the season starts. So, I mean, that's basically a full 3 years younger than Mesidor. That's almost, I mean, that's over half a rookie contract. So
it's true.
Emiliano, Joel the Mole Klatt released his mock 2.0 and had the Bears taking Jordan Tyson at 25, the receiver. Bills took Thieneman at 26. Thoughts? Boo boo. I'm not going to do a full – I think I'm going to do a video on this because it's really interesting. Look, if you're true to your word of going pure BPA, you could argue that's the ultimate BPA pick. Now, Tyson does have an injury history, so maybe that's a reason why he could fall. I still stand by this, Cullen. Mm-hmm. If he's healthy, I think he's the best receiver in the draft. Maybe I'm on an island there, but I think his ceiling is the highest. I think he's got the combination of size, explosiveness, and separation that and more of the just versatility than like a Carnell Tate. Like I think you can line him up in the slot. I'm not sure Carnell Tate can play in the slot. He could also play outside. I'm not sure Mekhi Lemon can win outside consistently in the NFL. I think this guy can do it all. How concerning are the injuries? I mean, that's really what this comes down to. Obviously, receiver isn't a top need for the Bears, but like again, they've said it. Like BPA, and don't forget who the head coach is, Ben Johnson. Like if he thinks Jordan Tyson is the real deal, I would not put it past the Bears at doing this. So let me ask you, because in that mock, Thieneman did go to 26. He went one pick later. All things equal, forget what the Bears need. Do you like Thieneman or Tyson as a prospect more?
I'm always the guy first round, obviously, like the talent and everything. And listen, I think Jordan Tyson, you could make a case 100% that he is one of the best, if not the best, wide receivers in this draft class. But you nailed it, right? The injury concern, if you could take that away, it'd be great, obviously. But the fact is, that's there. And if I'm sitting there and I'm the Chicago Bears and it would be a real luxury pick for Jordan Tyson, I would probably lean, because I would have them pretty close, like him and Thieneman in terms of like where I would rank them, just because of Jordan Tyson's
Fringe
injury.
top 15 for both.
I think Jordan Tyson's more firm top 15, whereas Thieneman I would like maybe debate. I still would probably go Thieneman though, just in that range, just because A, you need it, B, I think he's a stud, and I'm always of the opinion you could always lose your draft in the first round. You can't necessarily win it in the first round. So I would probably go the safe route in that. And Thieneman, who, I think he's going to be a hell of a player at the next level.
Yeah, I guess I just like, if you think he's the best receiver in the draft and he's like 11th on your board and he's sitting there at 25, like who am I to argue with it? Like, because there was a moment, there's been in this draft process, there were mocks before the combine where he was going top 5, where he was going 5th to the Giants.
To the Giants, yeah.
So, and it's not like his injury history wasn't documented before then. So, like, has, like, something changed drastically? I don't know, but I'd be pretty tempted. Now, if Thieneman was also there, cool, but what if he wasn't? What if, like, Thieneman's gone, your first couple of D linemen you'd like to take there are gone? It's just like he is by far the best player available. Like, I don't think you can get into trouble if you're going BPA. Like, I really don't. Now, obviously, if he's hurt all the time, that's not going to be ideal. You'd have to feel good about his medically. Because the thing about his injuries are, like, he's never had those, like, catastrophic injuries. Like, it's not like he has a torn Achilles and a torn ACL, but it's like, it's always like he just has a little something, right? Like,
so, and Lance Zierlein highlights this in his draft profile. He's missed games in every season from 2022 to 2025. Yep. He suffered a knee injury back in 2022, a collarbone injury back in 2024, and a hamstring injury in 2025. that also concerns me. It's like he's suffering injuries at different parts of his body too. Like it's not just like
He actually did have an ACL in 22, by the way, so that is a significant injury.
yeah. So I mean, it's a concern. It is like his body's consistently kind of at that point where like I get the talent. I 100% believe that he can be the best wide receiver in this draft class. He also could be a guy that he doesn't make it out of his rookie contract because of his health.
You don't want Kevin White 2.0, that's for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just, God, you watch it, the way he moves, you're just like, this guy's a freak.
Yeah. It's also one of those where, like, you buy in, you draft him, and then if it goes wrong, you can't say that the warning signs weren't there.
For sure.
So it's tough. I mean, he is a guy that could
make
or break a GM's job.
This isn't like a Caleb Banks, though, where it's like his potential's off the charts. Like, you've actually seen this guy, like, be dominant.
Yes.
Like, Caleb Banks is, like, injury history. Plus, we've never really seen him put it all together. Jordan Tyson's, like, when he's on the field, he's a dominant player. So.
Just a quick yes or no in the chat, guys. If Jordan Tyson's available at 25, would you draft him? Yes or no? I get the value would be there. I 100% believe you on that.
I'd think about it.
The injury concern would be, I'd be wary of it. Just a yes or no.
I'd rather take him than like, I don't know, like T.J. Parker, and I like T.J. Parker.
Yeah, a lot of no's.
Can't with holes in RD. I get you.
Could be a great player. No doubt.
I would think about it. Depends who's available. I think he's a top 12-ish player in the draft. So to me, it's Burden vibes. It's like, oh, this guy's a top 15 player in the draft, and he's sitting there at 39. That's now you have Roman Burden, so like it's not like receiver was still somewhat of a need last year. I get it's not as big of a need, but I don't think they'll do it, and I don't think he'll be there, so it's probably a moot point, but I do think it's interesting. Tom in the chat, BPA is the only way. If he's by far the best player available. Now, again, if Thieneman's there, it's like it's probably not a huge gap between the two on their board, I would imagine. But if it's like him or an edge that might fall to the second round, it's like I get edge is a bigger need, but
there's also like this draft class is pretty deep at receiver. I mean, we've talked about it. You can get guys that could contribute day one on probably day 3.
Yeah, I know, but I think you're more saying like this guy could be a number 1 in the future.
Sure.
And we can't believe he's sitting there. This is too good to pass up.
I hear you.
That's more of what it would be. Like you're not drafting him to contribute. You're drafting him to like eventually be like honestly, if you draft him, probably means like one of like Rome, unless he has a huge year, probably isn't getting a second contract. Like that's probably what you'd be looking at. Which again, I'm not. I think Rome's going to be really good still. I'm still a big Rome guy, but like that would more of be like you've put him and Burden on notice. Like, hey guys, this guy's the real deal too. So. Hello, competition at receiver, and good luck stopping this offense
sure.
if you had all those weapons. So,
be playing games like the old Big 12, trying to win them 45-35.
Be fun. Be entertaining.
It would be entertaining.
I'm more into that than the 12-10 Matt Eberflus attempts at winning games. I'll tell you that. All right, who do we got next?
Emiliano again.
Emiliano will. I don't even know I don't know the White Sox like that. Both generational number 1s. Was he the number 1 pick last year? I'm not that tapped into the White Sox guys. Pardon me.
Yeah, how do you? I don't even know.
Or is this an attempt to draw me off sides like Aaron Wilson got drawn off sides? Like if you combine this name, is this like something weird?
I don't know.
I'm not walking into that one, Emiliano. Not walking into that one. All right, who do we got next? Eddie Smith. Why is Edge Mikael Kamara not being talked about? The Indiana guy. I just don't think he's got like the physical upside of some of these other guys. He's probably like a middle. I've seen like 3rd, 4th round pick for him.
He also didn't, if I'm remembering correctly, he didn't have that productive of a year this past season. Let me look it up. Yeah, he had 2 sacks last year. No, he had 10 previously and 7.5 the year before that. Played in all 16 games, had 2 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. I always am very wary of players who have a down year. Like they decide to come back and then they have a down year, their last year in college before they're declared.
That's a lot of guys in this draft. TJ Parker, Peter Wood. Like, how many of like the top draft guys this year, this was their best year? Even Dillon Thieneman may not have been his best year. He had 6 picks as a rookie at Purdue.
Yeah.
Or as a freshman at Purdue. It's just a weird year in the draft where it's like a lot of these guys did not have their best year.
But the difference with Thieneman is he stepped up from Purdue to Oregon.
True.
So like that I can understand
It's still
slight
Big Ten.
I know, but Purdue versus Oregon, like I think that when you join a more nationally recognized power, there are other guys that can make plays where he doesn't have to be the consistent tackler or whatever the case.
Sure, but you could argue also that like as a freshman at Purdue, there's no one on the team nearly as good as him, and he still has 6 picks.
Sure.
Like the plays. And again, I'm not dumping on Thieneman. I think he's a hell of a player, and if they get him at 20, like I like him a lot. I'm just saying like a lot of these guys did not have their best year in 2025, which is what makes this draft fascinating. Like, why is that? Is it just kind of a weird coincidence, or like that's where I go back and forth on the 2 Clemson guys. Like I loved them both coming into this year, then they both were kind of just average this year. So like, is that who they're going to be moving forward, or is it just a weird year at Clemson, or what happened there?
Yeah.
Because I like the fit for both Peter Woods and TJ Parker, but if they've kind of flatlined as players a little bit, that makes me wary.
Yeah. I'm going to look up Thieneman's PFF grades from this past year because I'm just kind of curious what is worse.
Yep. Says I've seen 2 mock drafts this week with us picking Omar Jr. Cooper with the 25th pick. Crazy, right? Now that is a little crazy, and I like Cooper a lot. I just don't think he's the talent of a Jordan Tyson. I just don't think he's like that's too like him going 25th in a vacuum isn't too rich, but I think for the Bears it's too rich because like that's kind of in Cooper's range. Mm-hmm. Tyson, if he fell at 25, it's like you're getting him for pennies on the dollar, in my opinion. Cooper, that's kind of like proper value.
Mo Alley Cox officially resigns with the Colts. Random NFL news.
He's back.
Week 2 of NFL free agency, folks. No, I think Omar Cooper, I think he's a round 1 guy, but I think you nailed it on the head. Great value at 25. For the Bears, it's like, okay. Like, unless they just hate everybody else on the board.
Yeah, I think him at 25 is like, oh, yeah, it's like in his range. Tyson at 25 is like, whoa. He could have gone top 12. So, it's just kind of different. Andres, just found out Coach K is a Bears fan. Shout out. Yeah, I'm conflicted because I've never been a Coach K guy, so I guess I kind of have to like Coach K now. I did see that. Don Burr, Bears trash, polls suck, Claypool, Dio. How were the playoffs last year without Ben Johnson? I know in the chat you were like, well, we swept you guys. Yeah, you were also sitting at home, buddy. So did you miss the window already, Don? That 2-year window for the Lions, did it come and go? I guess we'll find out this year. Isaiah, I'm definitely content with and trust Ja'Day Walker as wide receiver 3. I can't go that far. Now, they brought in Khalif Raymond, so that might be enough competition between those two. But, like, I don't think you just give Ja'Day Walker wide receiver 3, and they won't do that. Like, that's not how this coaching staff operates. They are big believers in competition. Now, I like what I've seen. I'm glad he made the team last year. When he did get opportunities to make plays down the stretch, he did. I think he has that kind of potential, but let's not act like we have a ton of data to go off of like, oh, he's just ready to be a 40, 50 catch guy. Like, let's see how it goes. The offseason will be big for him. But, yeah, I mean, I would say right now him and Khalif Raymond would compete for that role, and in an ideal world, he would win it. And Raymond's your 4. So we'll see what happens.
Don Burr says the Bears made the playoffs finally. It only took 10 years.
Took 7. And how many years did it take before you guys made it 2 years ago? Come on, man. Don't act like the Lions have some rich history here. Like there is none. You've been really good the last few years, and I've been complimentary of Detroit. But like, Lions fans act like they've been here forever. Like you're not the Chiefs, bro. Like you've been good. You're not. Let's not act like you're the Chiefs, big dick in the league here. Like let's take a step back and see how it goes this year. Isaac Siegel, who is the player that looks good? You would upset. That looks good. You would be upset the Bears drafted in the first round. Who looks good?
Somebody who's like in that range at 25 that you're just not a fan of, I guess is what he's asking.
Oh, but he said that looks good.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are saying looks good that you're not a fan of. Is what I'm. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the way I read it.
Is that what you mean, Isaac Siegel? That looks good that you would be upset. Feels like an oxymoron there. A guy that I keep seeing mocked to the Bears at 25 that I personally don't love, and honestly I don't think the Bears will draft him there, is Caden McDonald. I think he's a high floor guy, but like his pass rush ability is kind of non-existent when I watch him, especially against good players. I mean, like, average centers were putting, like, Pat Coogan, decent player, day 3, was putting him in jail in pass rush. So, like, does he develop that? He's still young. I've never loved the idea of taking run-stuffing defensive tackles in the first round that don't have much upside as a pass rusher. Like Peter Woods, you've seen the pass rush flashes. So it's like, okay, he may not be quite the run stopper McDonald is, but he's still good against the run, and you've seen the pass rush upside. I haven't seen that with McDonald. Now, could that be developed? I don't know. But
I had to kick Don Burr, sorry.
Did he cross some lines?
Yes.
Oh, classic. That's awesome. Well, it's been a good run.
Ziganj, if you see something like that, you feel free to, but yes.
Yeah,
he was asking, like, yes, if somebody is sexist in the chat, you're allowed to do that. Or misogynistic, I guess would be the right word.
It's the classic if you know, you know. Guys could talk shit, but
yeah,
you know where the line is. Basic humanity rules here.
I trust you, Ziganji, on that.
But yeah, if that's what you're asking, Isaac, I'm not a huge fan of the Caden McDonald pick. It wouldn't be horrendous because you're still filling a need, but if I'm taking a defensive tackle in the first round, I need some pass rush upside. And I'm not sure McDonald has it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Bears country, would you rather have Crosby for 2 firsts or Sweat for a 3rd? Josh Sweat, I assume. I think probably Josh Sweat. I just 2 1s is just like Josh Sweat for a 3rd. Sure, he's not Max Crosby, but like he helps your pass rush. He's got a flexible contract. I think I'd go Sweat for a 3rd. You guys let me know. Type 1 for Crosby for 2 firsts. Type 2 for Sweat for a 3rd. Thoughts, Colin?
Ooh, 2 firsts or Sweat and a 3rd? Is that what?
You trade Josh Sweat for a 3rd.
Sweat. I would rather take Josh Sweat.
I would too. I think 2 1s is too much.
I would rather take Josh Sweat.
And even if the Ravens, if it was a little Bush League on the medical, like, we do know his injury history. Like, he's had multiple procedures over the course of his career. Like, and I love Max. Like, I've wanted Max Crosby for years in Chicago, but I'm not going to be reckless about it. Like, I'm not giving him a borderline Micah Parsons trade. Like, it's just too much. It's too much. So I'd rather trade a 3rd for Josh Sweat. Okay, Adam, HG, I called Fields to Casey on the live last week. I don't remember that, but I'll trust your word for it.
I know he super chatted last week. I can't remember what the super chat said.
I don't know why he'd lie about it. I'll take your word for it.
I'll take his word for it, which...
What a call. I mean, I did not see any team trading for him, if I'm being honest. Now, the Jets ate most of the money, but still, I mean, I'm fascinated by that. I mean...
Adam, if you could, let us know when you sent in that original super chat last week. Because I can look it up, too.
That's a hell of a call.
Because I do remember him sending in a super last week. I just can't remember what it said on the super.
I believe you, Adam.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Emiliano, he's lying.
He is lying. No, I don't think he's lying. I don't think he's lying. All right, Isaac again. He said absolutely great player, but doesn't fit or what? Oh, okay. See, I'm not even saying McDonald doesn't fit. I just don't love. Now, I will say he may not fit as well as much as a lot of people think, as DA likes lighter defensive tackles. He's about 325. Trying to think another guy. Another guy in that range.
We kind of talked about this off the show a little bit. I wouldn't be, because it's a position of need, I'm not really sure I really love any of the defensive tackle options, especially with Banks.
I've cooled on this defensive tackle group. Yeah. If Banks' health cleared, I thought the upside might have been worth it, but I'm not taking him in the first round at this point. Peter Woods' pre-draft period has been kind of underwhelming, especially coming off not his best season. Like, he fits a lot of what DA has had in the past at defensive tackle, but I wouldn't mind him at 25, but there's other options I'd rather go. I think Lee Hunter's probably a second-round pick at this point. Same with Kristen Miller. And then who's the other one?
So we've Miller.
Banks, McDonald, Woods, Miller.
Hunter.
And Hunter, yeah. So I just hit them all. Like, I'd rather, if you miss that crop, like if none of them fall to 57, I'd rather just get into that next wave of guys.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think Grayson Halton's a name to monitor moving forward. He does check kind of the quick, explosive nature, undersized D-tack that DA's had. He plays at about 295, so he could be a potential option in the second or third round. So. Yeah, I've kind of cooled on this D-tack group at the top. Who knows? Maybe a guy like Lee Hunter gets to 57. I mean, Kirsten Miller, like, it wouldn't shock me if one of those guys fell a little bit.
Holton, there's a world he could go in the second. I will say he's more likely in the third. But.
Yeah. Late second to late third is probably his range. Like 55 to 100, probably somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
He'll have a wide range, I would think.
Let me know down below, guys. Just who is your favorite pick for the Bears that's realistic at number 25 overall?
Let us know.
Let us know down below. Next one we've got is from Humberto. It says, wherever the Chicago Bears play, when could we see them in a new stadium? Could we also see Rome being traded in the middle of the season or next offseason?
I would say whenever the shovel goes in the ground, like construction actually starts, I would say it's at least 3 more seasons at Soldier Field. So let's say they started in August. That feels extremely early. But let's just say they somehow got this project agreed to in April or May. Project actually starts in August. I would say 26, 27, 28 for sure at Soldier Field. And if you're being conservative, probably one more year. Stadium in 2030. Like, I would say if the stadium construction starts between now and next spring, you're probably looking 2030 opening. So, you're adding at least 3, maybe 4 seasons at Soldier Field once the construction starts. Also, how much do Chicago winters impact the timeline of a construction project? I would imagine there's certain stretches where you can't really do much. I mean, if there's a foot of snow on the ground, I don't think the construction crew is going to be out there. So how does that impact the timeline? I don't know. I would say at the earliest, 2030 is an opening at a stadium. And every year that goes by from here on out is another year. So.
Miliana.
Come on, bro. John. Would you trade down into top of the second round for Kristen Miller? I don't know, if he'd be my top target specifically, but I'm very open to trading down. If a player you don't love is there, then trading down is kind of ideal in this draft. Now, it takes 2 to tango, got to find a team, but yeah, if you could trade into the 30s, I'd be very open to that.
I can't get over that.
You guys are something.
I'm almost kind of like. This is, and again, we're going to get into your top 5, Harry, just potential guys at 25. to me, it's like, okay, if I can get one of the safeties, preferably Thieneman, but Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, I actually think Jacob Rodriguez at 25 is A, in his range, and B, would be really interesting with the Bears, especially now that you've got Bush playing alongside him.
Yeah,
I think
I love Rodriguez. That would have to be a true BPA situation, just because I think you've done enough at linebacker where, like,
Sure.
unless he's by far the best player. Like, I'm not saying linebackers is stacked as receiver, obviously, on this team, but, like, it's kind of goes back to tight. Like, he better be by far the best player on your board if you're going to take him at 25. And I like Rodriguez a lot, but, like, if you take Rodriguez there, you still need a safety. You still need defensive line help. You still probably need a corner. You'd probably would like to add one of these centers if you can.
Sure.
So, if you're going to take Rodriguez, I'd rather try to trade down, get an extra pick, and if he's sitting there at 34, sweet.
Or something like that.
Take
yeah.
him.
Sure.
I'm not saying the value at 25 is back. I mocked him to the Bears, either at 25 or in a small trade down recently, but I just think after what you've done in free agency, I don't think you have to go that route.
That's fair. But then after that, it's like, all right, whichever edge you have highest on your board, whether it's Mesidor, Faulk, or Parker, or whomever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and again, it depends who's available.
Now, could they throw a wrench? Sure. I mean, we hardly at all talked about Colson Loveland last year before the Bears ended up taking him in the first round. So, who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like, with this coach, especially with, like, he wants to score points, like, that's why I can't rule out a crazy scenario for an offensive player. Like, if they the guy I used as an example was McNeill-Warren. If Ben Johnson thinks he's Amon-Ra St. Brown and he's sitting there at 25, I wouldn't rule it out, them drafting him. You just never know. All right, Bears country underrated trade target for the Bears this year. Underrated. I mean, I've mentioned a Josh Sweat. I don't know if he's underrated as a trade target. I keep throwing out Devon Achane. I know running back, like, you don't need to force the issue there, but you want to get a supercharged weapon that isn't going to cost you a ton against the cap right away. Like, that's your answer. Now, whether or not Miami would trade him and how much would they want if they were willing to trade him, that's a different question. But if you went – I love DeAndre Swift, and I thought he had a really good year, but if you went from him to Devon Achane, I mean, wow. Where's the weakness on this offense? I guess a little bit at center, maybe left tackle, but, like, your skill group is loaded. Your quarterback's good. Your play caller is awesome. You have two really good tight ends. Devon Achane in this offense would be that would be something. I don't know if Miami's willing to trade him, but if they are, I'm guessing they're not with them investing in Malik Willis. I mean, I do think they're committing to mostly a rebuild, but Achane's, 24, 25 years old? Like, I think he can be a part of a rebuild. So I think they're probably going to keep him.
Yeah. It would have to be, I think, at this point for somebody, not the biggest name in the world, or somebody like Achane who's on a rookie scale contract. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau's still kind of out there.
Thibodeau's lurking. He makes 14.
I know he's not underrated, but
I mean, if you could get him for a fourth, like if that trade was on the table today, your fourth-round pick for Kayvon Thibodeau, I'd probably do that because it makes you a lot more flexible in the draft. Yeah. Like, if a few rounds go by and you don't attack edge, that's okay because your top three is at least solid enough. Like Montez Sweat, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Austin Booker, that's a serviceable group. Fingers crossed, Dio Adengbo and or Shamar Turner can give you something. Draft an edge in the middle rounds. Like, I think, long term, am I, like, screaming from the rooftops at how good that group is? No, but it does raise the floor of that unit significantly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Sounds like the Giants are willing to trade him if the price is
there a
right.
Safety that you like that the Bears could potentially trade for?
It's always just hard to figure out. Safety is such a weird position because, like, the top ones get paid a lot. But then, like, I mean, we saw it in free agency this year. Like, if you don't go day one or two, it's like, oh, Jaquan Brisker, $5 million. There's always guys you can just find off the street that can just kind of plug and play. So, like, I don't even know, like, who that would be. I know like Bleacher Report threw out like Buda Baker. It's like, yeah, he makes $18 million. Like,
Right.
you just paid Kobe Bryant, so I don't think you're doing that. It would probably have to be a guy on a rookie deal again for a bad team. I don't even know who that is off the top of my head. So I doubt they would trade for a safety. I think that's just someone you just draft that guy. But we'll see. Daryl, what are your thoughts about moving Kyler Gordon to free safety? Obviously still drafting a corner safety. I think Kobe and Kyler together would be dynamic. Well, I think they're going to be regardless. Like, they're both going to be multi-dimensional. I've seen this idea fly around. It's like, okay, but then, like, you're probably specifically targeting a nickel at that point. I mean, are you drafting, like, Keontae Scott? I mean, that'd be fun. Go, like, Kyler and Kobe at safety with Keontae Scott in the nickel, but
there's some options they could go. They could honestly, like, round 3, like at pick 89, if that's the direction they wanted to go to, like they just moved Kyler back to safety and it's him, Kobe Bryant. Like, I like Treydon Stukes out of Arizona. I think it's got safety, nickel flex. There's some options there.
Yeah,
there's some options. I'm not saying that is what the Bears are going to do, but I think it does give them a little bit more of a, hey, listen, I mean, I need to take a shot, but all I got is water. So, regardless, I think that could be an option. I would.
I'm also curious at like how Dennis Allen views this. Like, is that just like is nickel almost like a safety in this defense anyway?
Maybe.
Like where it's just like, I mean, Kobe Bryant, I assume, is going to be doing a lot of different things. We know they move Kyler Gordon around, so like, is it almost like positionless basketball where it's like, hey, our two safeties in nickel, they can move around and do different things. So, like, if there's a guy in this draft that profiles more as like a nickel than a safety, then, like, maybe they would just draft that guy, and those three guys just kind of they're just multifaceted players. Like Bud Clark would fall into that.
Yep.
Where it's like, hey, maybe he's not a pure safety, but him and Kyler, we can kind of mix and match those two guys. They can each do different things, and you just go to war with those two and Kobe Bryant as like your three safety/nickel guys. So one thing we know is DA wants guys who can do different things on the back end outside of their outside corners. Like safeties, nickels, you better be able to play and run support. You better be able to cover. If we ask you to man up against tight ends every once in a while, you need to hold your own in that. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I don't see a scenario where Kyler Gordon's just like a full-time safety. But again, that may not be what anybody is in this defense. Like it might be down to down. You're doing different things. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. We'll find out if they draft like a guy that profiles more as a nickel. Like if they took Avion Terrell, I'd say that'd be a potential signal of something like that.
Potentially, yeah.
Will Edwards, my friend and I have been debating this. Is this possible? McDonald at 25, Rodriguez at 57, Halsey at 60, Connor Hecht at 89. Is it Connor or Cam Hecht? I forget.
No, it's Connor Hecht.
Connor Hecht. I don't think Rodriguez.
No, it's Sam Hecht. Sam Hecht.
Oh, yeah, it is Sam Hecht. Yeah, so it's not C Hecht. Or maybe you just meant center.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot. I don't think Rodriguez gets to 57, but if he did, that's a home run. Even if linebacker's not a top need anymore, it's still a big enough need where I would be comfortable doing that for sure. Again, I've never loved the idea of McDonald at 25, but that's probably around the range where he could go. My favorite pick out of all these is Halsey at 60, because I'm not sure he gets there. And he's a 220-pound safety who can run, willing tackler, he can cover. He's built like Brisker, but he's a little bigger and he can cover better. Like to me, like that's kind of what you're getting there. So
he also just like he has the ball or playmaking skills. Obviously, had multiple interceptions this past year again for LSU. He could kind of fit in that strong safety mold next to Kobe Bryant, who again the good thing about signing Kobe Bryant, also from the fact that I think he's a talented safety, is he could play either spot. Now, again, you probably want him, depending on the defense Dennis Allen wants to play, maybe more in that strong safety in the box role, but he can also play in the free. I think if you drafted Halsey, Bryant would be your free safety with Halsey being your strong.
Yeah. And again, that kind of leans into like, I think they can both do different things. So like, it's kind of like
Yes.
the NFL today. Like it's not as much free and strong anymore, especially for like the dynamic defenses, the non-vanilla ones. Like Brian Flores, if you like walked him and was like, "Who's your free and strong safety?" He'd probably just start laughing at you.
Sure.
But yeah, I like Halsey a lot because measured at the combine, 215 pounds, ran 4.52, so not a burner, but certainly fast enough for a safety. Which about is what Kobe Bryant ran. He ran low 4.5s, but you watch these guys play, they're just flying around. So, Adam, appreciate all the super chats, guys. March 11th live. Asked any chance Casey picked up Field. So you asked, you didn't necessarily call it. Still, the fact that you asked is that's still pretty good. I probably said I doubt it. Yeah, I'm fascinated by Justin Fields in Kansas City. He's going to get all the starting reps in the offseason. So see what it looks like. Colin Graham, appreciate the 5. If Simpson is on the board, I'd love to trade back with a QB needy team. Yeah, for sure. If we don't trade back, I like McDonald, Parker, or Mesidor at 25. If I was ranking those, I'd probably flip the order. I'd probably go Mesidor, Parker, then McDonald.
Same.
Out of those 3 for the Bears. I think Mesidor has the best chance to come in and contribute at a relatively high level right away. Parker, maybe his ceiling is higher and it's less risky because he's younger and doesn't have the injury history compared to a Mesidor. And then McDonald, maybe he's the safest, but I'm not sure he's ever like an all-pro. I think it's just like, oh, he's a great run stopper that you hope develops into an okay pass rusher. I just, again, with McDonald, like, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I've just never seen the pass rush upside with him. I think his pass rush win rate, I was looking at this the other day, I want to say, unless I'm getting him mixed up with somebody else, I want to say it was like 4%. It's like, oh, God. Like, that's just so low. Let's see. It was, 4%. I mean, his run stop rate at almost 14% is like literally like the highest it could possibly be compared to his peers. So he's unreal as a run stopper. But, like, can he ever give you anything as a pass rusher? And I'm not even talking like volume of sacks. Like, on obvious pass downs, is he a plus player? Because if he's just a first and second down guy, I don't love that in the first round, even in a weaker draft. Like, if I want that, I'd rather just take, I know he may not be a perfect fit for this scheme, but like Dante Corleone, like someone like that who you can get on day 2.
The Godfather.
That's just my preference. Maybe teams feel like they can develop McDonald as a pass rusher. He certainly has good physical traits, and he's still young, but I don't love that like average center prospects were like consistently holding up in pass pro against them. That underwhelms me a bit. Eric, if Sadiq is there, I could see them drafting him. If they do that, do you trade Kmet or do you or is Sadiq as a rookie just like a supercharged slot receiver while he develops as like a better blocker? He's a decent blocker. He's a willing blocker, but he's like 240, so it's just going to be tough for him to like block edges consistently. Again, though, I wouldn't rule it past the Bears. I doubt A, he'll get there, and B, they'll draft him, but that would certainly be an interesting selection. Diego, we should start a petition to convince the McCaskies to give more cash flow so that we can sign more free agents and not be mid next year, JK. But what is your perfect draft day scenario for the Bears and your draft crush? I don't know perfect. I'd say perfect is like you trade down, get an extra day 2 pick, and you still get a player you like in like the 30s. Like, I don't know, you trade down to 35 and you get, like, I doubt McNeil-Warren gets there, but like either him or like Zion Young or like a good player that you would have been open to taking at 25, but you trade back and get him, get some extra capital, and just load up on your defense. That's probably the ideal scenario. My draft crush, who's my draft crush? I'll have a video of like a My Guys video. Some guys, I've liked Akheem Mesidor the whole time. I understand his age and injury concerns, but I've said it. I think at times this year he was better than Ruben Payne. Now, again, I would take Payne over Mesidor given the age and all of that. But I've liked him. I do love Kenyon Sadiq. I don't think the Bears will or probably should draft him, but I do think he's a really fun player. Mike Washington has become a draft crush of mine later in the draft. If he was sitting there with your 4th-round pick, I'd be really tempted to take him there. Denied Dennis-Sutton's another one. I really like him. So those are a few. Bear down for life. Can you imagine a Matt Forte in this offense? That'd be fun. One of the OG dual threat running backs, run and pass. Pixel. Bears will focus on safety, linebacker, and defensive tackle over defensive end, in my opinion. I think they'll add an edge at some point, but when and where, that's certainly up for debate. But I do think they'll add one. Bears country, Zay Frazier having a CB3 role this year, possibly. I mean, I would say every corner job is somewhat up for grabs. I mean, I think unless Jalen Johnson gets hurt again or just looks awful in camp, I do think he'll be your CB1, but I'd say CB2 is up for grabs, and the pecking order behind CB2 is up for grabs. That was the case last year in camp, and Nashawn Wright basically won that role, but when Jalen wasn't healthy yet, it was him and Tyreek Stevenson who both started, and then Jalen got hurt when he came back, so those two were your starters for a while, but yeah, I mean, Zay Frazier's going to have an opportunity to compete with Tyreek. So is Terrell Smith once he's back from his ACL. So you'll have a lot of guys in the mix there. I think they'll add a corner at some point, whether it's a free agent or a draft pick. So keep an eye on that. All right, Super Chats keep rolling in. Alex, I think Booker will come along nice next year. DT in the first, Akis or Malachi Lawrence in the later rounds. I've actually looked into Akis a little more recently. One, he measured in at 260 with 33-inch arms, so I do think he's past the boxes of physical landmarks that Dennis-Sutton looks for. He's 6'3", so it's not like he's 6'5", but I do think he's big and long enough. And Malachi Lawrence probably isn't as heavy as DA would normally like, but he is super explosive. So he'd be a fun player on day 2. What was that?
It's super long, too.
Yeah, he's got the length as well.
We'll get this last super chat from Dennis, then we can get into some segments, guys.
Yeah, you guys appreciate all the super chats. Been killing it with that.
Dennis says, as much credit and belief I have in the staff, feel like we're pigeonholed into having to draft safety, defensive tackle, and most importantly, edge.
Well, I told you guys for months, ideally you sign and draft a safety. So I'm not going to blame them for that. I don't want to pay 2 safeties in free agency. I don't think that's good roster building. So that one I'm fine with. I do agree. I would like to add, and I'm hopeful they still will, at least one defensive tackle or edge, even if it's not a huge, someone that if needed could be a starter. Like Jadeveon Clowney, Cam Jordan. I don't know who that D-tack is at this point. I'm not talking about a Neville Gallimore, Neville Gallimore of the world type of player.
This is like Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell, someone who at least raises the floor of those positions. So I am hopeful they still do that. But I also think part of the forecasting for the Bears is A, they do believe in BPA, but B, Pohl said at the Combine, defensive line in this draft, especially edge, is pretty deep. So I think when the money started going out for Jalen Phillips for $30 million, I think they've always said, okay, we're not going to overpay for an edge in free agency. We're probably going to just draft one. They sniffed around on Crosby for now. That seems dead. So yeah, I hear you, but I also think those are kind of the strengths of the draft. So it kind of works out with their strategy. But I do hear you. You don't want to take a defensive tackle if it's the 8th best player on their board, but based on how they operate, I don't think they'll do that. I think we saw that last year. They went tight end receiver with their first 2 picks. Those were not your top needs last year, but they both worked out pretty well, which is why BPA is still the way to go. At the same time, though, if you do that, you're still going to have to fill those needs at least a little bit. Obviously, safety's a must. You don't have a second starter. I don't think Elijah Hicks is going to start. So, yeah, you're going to have to add that at some point. But I think there's different pockets in this draft at safety that the Bears should be able to find one that can start. Dillon, should we draft Kevin Jabidi? Do you know who this is?
I'm not familiar. No, I don't know if this is actually.
No, it's a real guy. I'm looking him up.
Okay.
I'm always careful now after the Aaron Wilson situation. Syracuse. And reference is making me authenticate.
What position is he?
He is a defensive lineman. I don't know if he's an edge or a D-tack. 5 sacks this year, 6 TFLs. I don't know if he was at the NFL Combine. Let's see. He was not. So if you're not at the Combine, typically you're like a late day 3 undrafted free agent. So
6'4", 300 pounds at least. That's what it's been.
D-tack, you would assume at that height and weight. Yeah, I don't know much about him. Maybe with one of your 7th-round picks, sure. But I'd be BSing you if I said anything more. So don't really know when he'll go and if he'll get drafted or if the Bears view him as a fit. But we'll see. Jeffrey, any early post-June cut candidates for the Bears? I mean, from a financial standpoint, if they wanted to, guys they could cut post-June 1. Montez Sweat saves you $11 million, but you still eat 14.1, and you're cutting your best defensive lineman. I don't think that's realistic. Jalen Johnson would save you $15.5, $9 million in dead cap. I know he's coming off an injury-riddled year. Didn't look great when he played, but again, like, okay, you're cutting your best outside corner. Don't think that's realistic. If you loaded up on a couple of defensive linemen, like, I doubt they would do it. But would they just cut ties with Dayo Odeyingbo? You save $3 million, so not much. You'd eat $17.5, but like I do wonder if that would at least be under consideration. I doubt it. Just like, is $3 million more valuable than Dayo Odeyingbo? Probably not. I mean, like, he can at least give you position flex and eat up some snaps for you. I mean, Cole Kmet financially, you save $10 million, you eat 1.6, but he's going to be on this team, and I think he should be on this team. DeAndre Swift all along has been a money cut candidate, $7.5 million, but again, that's your starting running back, so like that probably only happens if you draft a running back higher than expected. So
a lot of no's whenever you mention Dio, by the way. Motivated Dayo Odeyingbo, how dare you?
Yeah, I was just reading names, but I've said all along, like, the way his contract structure, you might as well just keep him, unless you can trade him. It's the same thing with TJ Edwards. I'm not cutting TJ because of the money, but if you can trade him, if you trade TJ Edwards, let's just talk about that and Dio real quick. If you trade Dio, it saves you post-June 1, $16 million. And pre-June 1, it actually saves you $11.5. So that's actually not bad. If you trade TJ pre-June 1st, saves you 6.2. Post-June 1st, saves you 8.5. If you cut those guys, it doesn't save you much, but if you can find a trade partner, I'd be pretty open to that for either of those two guys. I don't think a team's trading for Dayo Odeyingbo. I could see a team do a pick swap for TJ Edwards. He's still a good player when healthy. A fractured fibula sounds bad, but it's just a broken leg. I know it sounds crazy, but like that's much easier to reconstruct than a torn Achilles. And his contract is just less than Dio's. So I could see them trading TJ, but my guess is they're both probably on the team. All right, Harrison Graham's #1 fan. Wow, what an honor. Free agent picks for next year. Guys, I don't even know who's available next year.
Yeah, we got to let them play out.
Khalif Raymond, because he's on a 1-year deal. I don't know.
Boom. All right, and then Alex, the Bears fan, says, and we'll show this super chat at some point, we don't need a new edge. We have motivated Dio.
There you go. Motivated Dio is going to give us over the finish line. All right, any more supers? We still have a mailbag to get to, so we will catch up on those coming up in about 15 minutes. But I do want to react to PFF's 3-round mock draft. We'll get to that in a second. Hit that like button. Let's get more Bears fans in here. We got over 800 people watching, only 160 likes. Let's get those numbers up. We would greatly appreciate it because here's what we got coming up on today's show. We'll react to Pro Football Focus's latest 3-round mock draft, which obviously includes 4 selections for the Bears. their first-round pick, 2 seconds, and a third. We will take more questions. If you super chat, we'll also work in some hashtag Bears questions in there. We know everybody can't or doesn't want to donate, so we will get to you guys as well. And then some updated Bears draft targets after the first, couple waves here of NFL free agency. We'll get into those also. And before we get to that, Alex Amerling wanted to flash this real quick. Don't need a new edge. We have motivated Dayo Odengbo. Hey, we're good here. Max, we don't need you. Motivated Dayo Odengbo is here. Shout out to the guy who clipped that, by the way. I don't know if you're watching the show. But, all right, let's get into it. Chicago Bears now rolling along here on a Monday. Pro Football Focus released their latest 3-round mock draft, and we're going to react to the Bears selections here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show. If you look at the Bears draft capital as a whole, they do have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, 25 overall, 57 and 60 overall, and then 89 overall as well. Again, this is a 3-round mock. The Bears also do have 1 4th-round pick and then 2 7th-round picks, but those picks aren't made in this mock draft. Free agency is still ongoing, but has definitely slowed down significantly. So I want to ask you guys, do you want more Bears draft content? Should we lean into the draft more? If you do, like this video, we can do more mocks. We can react to other mock drafts like this. We can also dive into some player prospects, some player profiles, stuff like that. Give me your thoughts. Like this video if you want more draft content. All right, to round 1, pick 25, PFF has the Bears selecting Toledo safety Emmanuel McNeill-Warren. And I love the idea for the Bears if they can get either Dillon Thieneman or Emmanuel McNeill-Warren at 25 overall. I think I like Thieneman a tick more because I think they're very similar. I love both their tape, but Thieneman's done it in the Big Ten at 2 programs, Purdue and Oregon, and he tested a little bit better than McNeill-Warren, who didn't test poorly, but I thought Thieneman tested better, and if you listen to what the Bears have said, we want to get faster. Thieneman ran a 4.35, while McNeill-Warren ran a 4.52. But I do like McNeill-Warren a lot. When you watch him on tape and just check out his highlights, I mean, he is flying around. And Toledo's got a history now of plugging these guys out as pros. So I'm not too concerned about the small school thing, although it's obviously something that you obviously have to monitor and consider when you draft, especially up high in the first round like the Bears would be here. Graded out really well per PFF, 92 overall and in coverage. Is good in run support. He's willing to play in the box. He's kind of, to me, a poor man's Nicky Manwari. He's not as big. He's not as explosive, but I think you can use him in similar ways where he could play some nickel. He could play in the box. He can play laterally as a coverage safety as well. So I like the versatility. I think he'd be a good fit next to Kobe Bryant. So if you told me today, hey, Emmanuel McNeill-Warren is the pick at 25 overall, he'd be one of my top options with that selection. Pick a safety. Who would you rather have? Type BMW for Emmanuel McNeill-Warren. Type DT for Dillon Thieneman. I would lean Thieneman, bigger school, production at both Oregon and Purdue. Tested better overall, more speed than EMW, but I like both. I think it's really close. I would lean Thieneman because of the testing, because coming into the combine, going into it, I thought it was very close. So Thieneman with the tiebreaker based on the testing. Okay, round 2, 57 overall. Personal favorite of mine, Dani Dennis-Sutton, the edge rusher out of Penn State. I'm not a grade the helmet guy. That being said, Penn State's got a pretty good history now of plugging out good pass rushers. And I just like what I've seen out of Dennis-Sutton. 2 really good years in a row, back-to-back 8.5 sack seasons, and he did it this year in 3 less games. The production was there, and he checks a lot of the boxes that the Bears and Dennis Allen are looking for. We know Ryan Poles is a big physical upside guy. The testing matters. Well, he checked those boxes. Well, we know Dennis Allen likes, bigger, longer, physical defensive ends. He checks those boxes. He's a little tight-hipped at times, but I think in the second round, I think he can be a guy that can give you 6 to 8 sacks in the NFL. And as he develops more, maybe he is a double-digit sack guy moving forward. I think he defends the run well. He could set the edge in the run game. He has room to add weight to that frame also. I just think there's a lot to like here in Dani Dennis-Sutton coming out of Penn State. If you get him in that second round cluster, 57 or 60 overall, if he falls to 89, I mean, it might be the steal of the draft. I don't think he gets there, but I like him in that late round 2 range where the Bears are picking. So EMW, Dani Dennis-Sutton through 2 picks. I think this is a hell of a mock draft for the Bears per PFF here. All right, we got 2 more picks to break down, but first, our merch is available at chatsports.com/Bears shop. We got the Bears Now t-shirts, the Iceman gear, hoodies and shirts available with the different color styles. FGB, that motto's never changed. You can wear this bad boy year round. The Bears gear you can rock all the time. Got the bear claw going through the R and the S. Bears style there. Check it all out. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. By the way, and no promises here, but if you have any merch ideas, fire away in the chat. We're always thinking of new creative ideas that we can add to the collection. If it's stuff you guys would buy, we're interested in making it and making that a possibility for all of you. So chatsports.com/Bears shop. Click and shop today. Get yourself some Bears Now merch. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, round 2, pick 60. I think from a value standpoint, I don't like this one as much, but I do like the fit, and I do think it checks a box for what the Bears are looking to add, and that is a center in this draft. It is Jake Slaughter, the center out of Florida. Graded out well, especially as a zone blocker, which we know the Bears run a lot of outside zone in the run game. Ben Johnson's pretty adjustable to that. If gap makes more sense with the guys they have up front, he's willing to adapt. But most of that crew's the same. Bringing in Garrett Bradbury, that's an outside zone run game center. So I think at least in the near term, they're going to keep with that scheme on the ground. Tested well also. I think there's a lot to like here. I just think round 2 is a little rich. I don't know if any of these centers in this draft are worth taking in the second round. That being said, that could be a position that gets moved up for a few teams because there were a lot of center-needy teams. But I feel comfortable enough this year with Garrett Bradbury that I don't think I'd go center in the second round. Like, this better be a guy that's going to start for a number of years if you're going to go on that route. Like, he better be ready to go. 2027, hey, you're starting for the next handful of years at least. I don't think it'd be a bad pick because I think it's a good fit. This feels more like a need pick than a value pick. Like, I think if you told me, hey, Jake Slaughter at 89, sweet, let's do it. 60, like, you still haven't taken a defensive tackle. You could go corner here. You could take a different premium position. I think it's a little early for my blood. Like the player, like the fit, don't love the value. I do love this value. Like, if you just flip these picks, and that's kind of where this evens out, Anthony Hill, the linebacker out of Texas, who I think is more of a second-round player, you get him at 89. For some reason, PFF's draft rankings, they're not as high on him, so he's still on the board when they select here at 89 overall. I really like him. Team captain type of player at Texas. The production was there. He was awesome in 2024. Now, part of that, the numbers going down this year, is he played 6 less games, right? Texas had that deep playoff run the year before. This year, he missed a couple games with injury, only played in 10 games overall. One thing I really like him, he's a good blitzing linebacker, so you can use him in that way. He's kind of hit and miss in coverage. Some reps you watch him like, okay, he identifies, he's reading the quarterback, boom. Like, he had an awesome interception off of Gunnar Stockton this year where he just baited him into a throw over the middle, and he was able to pick it off and run it back for a nice little run back. Other times it feels like he's kind of caught leaning one way and the quarterback throws behind him. And look, that happens with young linebackers a lot in the NFL and in college, obviously. I think he's good enough in coverage. He's certainly athletic enough to improve in that area. Ran pretty well. Again, I like him in the second round. So if you get him in the third round, like, to me, he's competing for a starting job right away. And if you take him here, like, are you trading TJ Edwards? Because you would have him, Devin Bush, and DeMarco Jackson, 3 guys who can really run. And that trio at linebacker, let Anthony Hill and DeMarco Jackson compete for that number 2 role. The other guy ends up being your Sam linebacker with Devin Bush likely as your weak side guy. So there you have it. PFF 3-round mock draft. I really like it. EMW in the first round. You get denied Dennis-Sutton in round 2, Jake Slaughter in round 2, Anthony Hill in round 3. If you just flip Anthony Hill and Jake Slaughter, I love it. So it kind of works out in the end based on where I think these guys should go in the draft. So if I'm grading this mock draft from PFF, A, B, C, D, or F, I'll give it an A-. Again, if you flip Hill and Slaughter, I love it. So it kind of works out A- overall. You didn't get a D tack, which I don't love, but you're not going to get every position if you're not trading around, getting extra picks, and obviously that takes two to tango. And if there's guys on the board when you're picking that you like, you just take the player, obviously. So A- for me. I really like this mock from PFF. All right, guys, appreciate you tuning in to Chicago Bears. Now, again, if you want more mock drafts, if you want more draft content in general, like the video. Let me know in the comments what you're looking for as we're looking to get you guys as much content as possible. Hit that subscribe button and bear down. All right, Draft Crush number 11 from Cullen. We kind of teased this last week. Took the week off from Draft Crushes because of free agency, but we are back. Charles Demings. This feels like a deep pull here, Cullen. Out of Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks.
The Lumberjacks, as it were.
Great mascot.
Yes, 6'1", as you see on screen. He measured in at the combine at 193 pounds, so ignore the 185 that's listed on screen, but 32-inch arms. Had a really good athleticism score of 88. He ran a 4.4 40-yard dash, 1.5 10-yard split, 42-inch vertical jump. Like, this kid is built to be an athletic outside corner. And look, we kind of talked about it. We just literally did a segment, right, on the Bears PFF mock draft. The amount of positions that the Bears are going to have to target through kind of those first three rounds: D-tack, edge, safety, potentially center. A lot of things that they could go after. So I'm thinking, okay, if the Bears do want to draft corner, which they may, depending on Zay Frazier, Terrell Smith, and how they feel about other guys on the roster, I think Charles Demings could be a potential draft target for the Bears on day 3. And again, this would be a day 3 kind of pick for Chicago. Really good ball prediction, as you see right there. 2025, 5 pass breakups, 4 interceptions. So not afraid to make plays on the ball. Smooth hips. He's a guy that is going to test. He's obviously got the physical speed. He's got the size, and he's got the frame to be an outside corner in the NFL. Able to track and high point, throws deep downfield. He's got really good burst to catch space and disrupt and everything. Can be a little impatient whenever he's in press man coverage, so that's something that needs to be coached out of. But Al Harris, I think, could potentially coach this guy up if they do like him. Needs to play with better eye balance and coverage. At times, he can be a little undisciplined, if you will, but I'm below average in the run game in terms of supporting the run. But I think as a day 3 guy, definitely somebody that I've kind of really liked, and somebody that went from an undrafted guy to I do actually think this guy gets drafted on day 3. So.
Okay. I like it. Over 6'1", over 6 feet, so that kind of checks out. The Bears like taller corners, so that's certainly interesting. By the way, some Bears-ish news. Andrew Billings is signing with the Cardinals. I don't know. Did you say that in there?
I didn't, but I noticed it or whatever. So
yeah, Billings to the Cardinals. So there he goes. But which no surprise that he's not a scheme fit, but. Best of luck to him. This is one of your deeper pools, I would say. Mm-hmm. Would you say out of all the guys you've done, this is probably like
one of the deeper ones,
guys in terms of like when these guys will fall?
Mm-hmm. This honestly is so. I mean, we can run through them real quick. I mean, we've got Markel Bell, we've got Logan Jones, Davison Igbinosun, Kevin Coleman, Jamari Taylor, Cage Casey, Kamari Ramsey, Bryce Betcher, Lee Hunter, and then Malachi Lawrence.
Yeah, it feels like what's the guy's name you just did?
Charles Demings, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like if I'm guessing where these guys get drafted, he probably goes the latest. Him or I guess maybe the Mizzou receiver.
Kevin Coleman, that's another one. Jamari Taylor could be another one that is a little later in the draft. I think those probably are your 3 bottom ones, if I had to guess. But yeah, not everybody can be a day 2 guy. Sometimes you look at the day 2.
I like the deep pool. This is what Cullen draft crushes are all about. You might find a $100 bill that's been sitting under the couch for a while. Like we're digging deep for some of these guys. So shout out to Sea Breeze for that one. Let us know what position you guys are looking for next. What position should Cullen target next or break down next?
Always happy to look. And if you guys, too, want to specify, look up a day 3 D-tack or a day 2 corner or whatever the case may be.
Let's hear it.
Tight end 3 is a good one. I don't think I've done a tight end, actually. We just ran through them. I have not. So a potential blocking tight end.
I don't hate that. That's sneaky a need. I mean, they're going to have to find one of those, whether it's in the draft or free agency. So they're going to need a – although I do have – and I still think the latter tight end, but I do kind of wonder, like, does Theo Benedict just kind of become this, like –
extra sixth offensive lineman.
Sixth lineman, blocking tight end, line him up at fullback. Like, I kind of wonder when it's all said and done, like, is he really in the left tackle competition, or do they use him in all these other roles? I kind of wonder if it's the latter.
Maybe.
And then if in an absolute emergency, he could play a left tackle,
right,
if something happened. But that's what I'm wondering. That is what I am wondering.
But yeah, I'm seeing tight end 3. I see safety, D-tack. We'll go tight end 3. Just on the off chance the Bears do want to take one.
Oh, I think there's more than an off chance.
Yeah,
especially with one of those 7th round picks.
Mm-hmm.
To me, in the 7th round, you're either swinging for the fences for some guy who tested really well, but hasn't developed as a player yet, or it's hey, give me a floor guy that can do a specific role. That. You're going one way or the other, ideally, there.
We'll do tight end 3, and maybe after that we'll focus on more nickel corners. Because, again, maybe the Bears do that with Kyler. Who knows? That could be an option. I'd be really curious to see him and Brian on the back end. I think that could be very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
All right, guys. Use hashtag Bears like you see on screen or Super Chat to get into our mailbag. We got Wasim joining us. Wasim, of course, Super Chat went away. He said, as I'm scrolling down to look at it, bear down, FGB. Just saying hi, everybody.
Shout out Wasim.
We'll get that on screen before we get in this mailbag.
Hashtag Bears or Super Chat.
Harrison Graham Lover says, Bears draft Harrison Graham with our first, then build our entire team around him.
I don't know if I'm a franchise cornerstone, but hey, listen, GMs make mistakes all the time. So you never know. But I appreciate that. Shout out to you, Wasim.
Someone said a kicker.
Kicker. Who's the biggest legged kicker in the draft? I'm not drafting a kicker. I'm cool bringing in a UDFA onto your 90-man roster if you want to push Cairo. But I think as the year went on, Cairo kind of silenced the haters a bit. We know he doesn't have the biggest leg, but he made some tough kicks and some tough elements.
Some more Bears adjacent news from Ian Rappaport.
Oh, Justin Fields. Full financial details. As part of the trade, the Jets are giving Justin Fields an $8 million signing bonus, plus he will earn $3 million fully guaranteed from the Chiefs for a total of $11 million. Fields previously had $10 million guaranteed. So he's actually getting $11 million to play this year. Look, I will say this. There's a reason teams keep bringing him in.
Yep.
I would imagine Andy Reid gets creative with him in some red zone packages. But again, he's going to get all the QB1 reps in the offseason. So this kind of feels like his last real chance to turn into to be a starting QB for someone, and not the Chiefs clearly once Mahomes is back, but I don't know if he just had this great offseason in training camp, would some teams sign him in the next year? First-round picks get a lot of chances, and I do think, Colin, a lot of these GMs are he could be my Sam Darnold, he could be my Baker Mayfield. These teams can convince themselves pretty quickly. So, listen, this will be the best situation he's gone into. There's no question about that. So,
no doubt.
I'm curious to see how it plays out. Very curious to see how it plays out.
It's one of those things where if you say the sentence out loud, if Andy Reid can't help you.
Yeah, if he doesn't improve as a drop back passer under Andy Reid, it's just not meant to be. And even that, I'm really not convinced it happens. I think what's more likely is they feel comfortable with him as a backup, but they use him as a weapon. I think that's more of the likely scenario here of how this plays out. I saw Mina Kimes, who I do like and respect. She said this could be a Sam Darnold situation. I'm I think people – anytime a first-round pick at quarterback doesn't work out that gets a fresh start, it's Sam Darnold. It's there's not that many situations that have been like Sam Darnold, guys.
Right. like just because and people will say, oh, well, Sam Darnold had a resurgence. Oh, Baker Mayfield had a resurgence. Geno had briefly a resurgence. Like, you can't necessarily bank on every quarterback that just didn't work out. Be like, oh, they just need to find the right guy. Sometimes, and
like Mitch Trubisky hasn't had a resurgence. Like, plenty of guys haven't. For every Sam Darnold, how many Zach Wilsons are there? Like,
how many Jake Lockers are there? Like it's sometimes, hey, you're not an NFL QB, and that's okay.
Yeah. Like, I've said it for like 18 months now. Like, if I'm Fields, I would lean into like a hybrid like QB3 athlete role would be ideal. Like, you could last another 7 years in the league potentially, but like,
if that's what he wants to do.
And look, if the Chiefs are giving him some level of a chance, so like, it's very interesting.
Yeah, no Minshew over there, so it is Fields and all go.
I mean, he's clearly the backup,
yes.
and he's the starter in the offseason.
Yes.
So it's full systems go in Kansas City, which, look, I'm rooting for. I've always liked the guy. I still like the guy. I think part of why he keeps getting chances isn't just his physical talent, but like, he clearly has a good reputation in the league. Teammates like him. Coaches speak highly of him. Polls, I don't know what kind of offers they were getting him, but he traded Fields to Pittsburgh because that's where he wanted to go. Like, he did right by him to a certain extent. So, like, these teams clearly view him in a high light. But the bottom line is like, can he be a starting quarterback or not? There's a lot of evidence that says no to that question. So, yeah, I mean, I'm consider me curious. I will say that. Someone in the chat, trade for Mahomes?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Don't think that's happening. All right. TJ, to be fair, the Bears were a QB graveyard for years.
We'll hit that on the back half of the
mailbag. We'll don't really need that in the mailbag, but we'll flash that on screen when we get a chance. All right, mailbag time. Fire away. # Bears Super Chat. Let's go. Just bear with me. Kicks off the Chicago Bears Now mailbag. I'm Harrison Graham. He says, could the Bears trade for Vita Vea as he's entering the last year of his contract? I like Vita Vea. His cap hit would be about $17 million if you traded for him. Now, would you give him like a 1-year extension to lower that number? He is going to be 31, so he's not old, but he's not young. It would certainly elevate that room. He's actually improved a lot as a pass rusher throughout his career. I don't know if Dennis Allen views him as a fit, but Vita Vea to join in with Grady Jarrett and Trevon Dexter, that wouldn't be bad. I mean, that's certainly an upgrade. I don't know if Tampa's willing to trade him. The Bucs feel like they're in this weird spot where they're still trying to win, but like, are they that good of a team? Feels like they kind of need to get younger in certain spots. So I wonder if that's more of a name that comes up at the trade deadline, if they're struggling considering he's in the last year of his deal. But yeah, that's a player I've liked for a while and could certainly help your defensive line. Should the Bears trade for Vita Vea? Type Y for yes, type in for no. 4th round pick, who says no? Probably Tampa, I guess. But I don't think I'd offer a day 2 pick for Vita Vea given his age. All right, Zakassim, do you think the Bears got better, worse, or same? I keep getting asked this. The picture's still incomplete. I still think they should be better because their core is going to continue to improve, or at least it should. I guess on paper they're probably similar. The one area I think it's clear you can't really debate, they haven't done much to address the pass rush, but they also haven't really lost anyone there notable. So that's kind of similar. I do think they're going to be better at linebacker if they're healthy. I think Devin Bush is better than any linebacker the Bears had last year. So I actually do think that's an upgrade. And I would say the secondary, I think health is the key. I think Kobe Bryant is going to be a really good fit. Whether he's as productive as Kevin Byard was last year, we'll see. But I think long-term, that's a good play. And if Jalen and Kyler can stay healthy, they should be better on the back end. So I think there's more pieces to the puzzle to come. I don't think they've gotten worse, though. And you might say, well, they traded DJ Moore. Yeah, they got a 2nd-round pick. Rome Odunze and Luther Burden's target share is going to go up. I'm not saying that's addition by subtraction. That would be disrespectful. But I think your 3 primary weapons of Loveland, Rome, and Burden are going to get more target share, which I think is a good thing. Kiddes, thoughts on TJ Parker? Would he be a good pick at 25? Yeah, I think he'd be definition of good pick. I don't think it's a grand slam. I don't think it's a home run, but checks the boxes of what Dennis Allen is looking for in an edge rusher. Good size, good length, can bull rush. I think he needs to add some secondary pass rush moves, but he defends the run well. The size is there. So, yeah, I think he'd just be like a solid B pick if they got him there at 25. There's other guys I'd rather have, but there's guys that they've been linked to that I would rather have Parker than those guys. So, yeah, it would just be kind of a solid pick. New sponsor alert here on Chicago Bears Now. Today's show is brought to you by Cheers. Guys, as I've gotten older, I don't bounce back the way I used to after a night out with my wife Hannah or with the fellas. I'll be 33 this year, and my drinking tolerance isn't what it used to be, but I do like to indulge every now and again. And when I do, today's sponsor Cheers has me in a much better place the next morning. Cheers Restore is a dual-action after-alcohol aid. Its ingredients support both your brain and your liver after consuming alcohol. Cheers was originally invented by a student at Princeton based on research into a novel compound called DHM. Cheers' promise is simple. You'll feel about 50% better the next day or your money back. Basically, 2 drinks feels like 1 the next morning. All you do is take 3 capsules after your last drink or before you go to bed. This isn't for college binge drinking, fellas. If you have 12 tequila shots, you're still probably going to have a rough morning. But if you drink responsibly, 2, 3, 4 drinks, you'll feel much better the next day with Cheers. Same night out, way better morning with Cheers. For a limited time, our listeners are getting 20% off their entire order by using code CHAT at cheershealth.com. You can also go to cheershealth.com/chat for the discount. Just head to cheershealth.com, use code CHAT for 20% off after you purchase. They will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them Bears Now by Chat Sports sent you. Link is in the comments and description of this video. Keep this mailbag rolling. We got Justin. If the Bears trade Swift, do they draft the Arkansas running back? I don't know if they draft Mike Washington Jr. specifically, but if they did trade DeAndre Swift, that means they're adding a run back somewhere, whether they're trading for a different one like Devon Achane, whether they're drafting Jadarian Price in the second round, whatever the case may be, they would clearly be adding a back. I doubt they would pivot off Swift before adding a back. Like, to me, if they trade Swift before adding a different running back, that signals a move is coming. There's been no chatter of that. I expect Swift to be the guy. Now, depending on what happens during the draft and if they take a back they really like, could they then move Swift after that? Certainly possible, but I would say it's 3 smoking J's. Swift is back, and this team's starting running back in 2026. All right, Brent, if Rome keeps dropping passes, is there a world where Walker's pushed up the depth chart? I think we got to pump the brakes on a couple of things. One, yes, Rome had a bit of a drop issue last year, certainly frustrating. He still, before the injury, was on track to have a huge year. That was even with a couple drops. So I'm not selling my Rome stock, number one. And number two, Jahdae Walker made a few plays when called upon. I'm glad he made the team. I thought he earned it in training camp and in the preseason. And like I said, he did make a few big plays in big spots down the stretch of the season. But, we're talking about 3 to 5 plays. It's not like he made 20 plays, right? I think he'll compete to be wide receiver 3. And that's a hell of a story as a UDFA from last year. But I don't think he's ready to challenge Rome Odunze for a primary role in this offense. Let's take baby steps here with Jahdae Walker. Subscribe to the channel. We got daily videos, live watch parties during the season, and live streams during the offseason as well. Plus more content, draft, free agency, trade rumors. We're taking your questions like this. Fire in the chat. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. We'll continue to pump out content. All right. Paul. I don't know if I said that right. If 2026 Bajent was draft eligible 2026, where would he be picked? It's just so hard to say. I know the Bears were high on Bajent. I think some teams across the league are interested in him. Based on where he is now or when he was coming out? I guess you're saying where he is now at 2026. I don't know. Does he I still don't think he certainly doesn't go ahead of Mendoza or Ty Simpson, I don't think. I mean, does he go in the 3rd or 4th round in a weak QB draft? Maybe. It's just so hard to answer because even though I think a lot of teams and execs are intrigued by Bajent, there's still this factor of he hasn't played much in the regular season, especially the last 2 years. So there's a relative unknown there. Christian, is Colston Loveland a top 5 tight end? He's insane. I don't know if you could put him there already, but he's pretty damn close already. Like, I think he's top 10 for sure. I'll say this. If you're drafting every tight end in the league today, if you're the NFL, how many are going before Colston Loveland? I don't think the answer is that many. Maybe Brock Bowers. I don't think Tyler Warren is. Loveland's 2 years younger. Like, the list's pretty short, man. Like, I'd have to think, like, McBride probably goes ahead of him, but he's making almost $20 million a year now. George Kittle, with his age, it's not Kelsey anymore. I think he's going for sure top 5, probably top 3 in a tight end draft. He's 22. He's young as hell. If you told me by the end of this year he's the best tight end in the league, I wouldn't argue with you. I thought the second half of last year he was one of the better ones, certainly from a receiving standpoint, and he was a good blocker. He graded out well above average as a blocker as a rookie. So, yeah, he's a special talent. Like that, even I was a little hesitant on draft night. That was a hell of a pick by Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson. Name a player the Bears should sign or trade for. Who's someone out there that the Bears could go get either before or after the NFL draft? Drop his name down in the comments of this video and let me know. Got a few more here. Medio, what is lowest trade back you do? Probably like early 40s unless I'm getting a future first. If I get a future first, kind of like the Rams did with the Falcons, I'd be willing to drop to late second, maybe even third round, considering I do have 2 second-round picks. I mean, the draft next year is expected to be loaded. So if some team was desperate and offered you a future first to move up to 25, that would be pretty tempting, especially if it's a team that may not profile to be, a major contender next season. So if a trade like that's on the table, I'd be open to it. If not, probably the 40s. I wouldn't want to drop too far back. Sean the Savage, do we look into trading for Princely Umanmielen? He might be the odd man out with Phillips and Scorton in Carolina. Did he even do anything as a rookie? Let me see. I don't think he was like a DA fit either with his measurements. I think he measured in kind of light at the combine last year, if I'm remembering correctly. He's listed at 6'4", 244. That's kind of thin for a 6'4" guy. 1.5 sacks, 2 TFLs. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even think I'd do a 4th. If they want one of our 7th-round picks, sure. But I don't think Carolina would punt on him 1 year in for a 7th. So that seems pretty unlikely. Thank you guys so much for getting your questions in. If we didn't get your questions answered, you know where to find me. At HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/HGramNFL. Also, you can search Harrison Graham Chat Sports on Facebook and find me that way if you're in the mobile app. And fire in your questions. More Bears content over there. Go support me on my socials. I would appreciate it. Bear down. All right. Bopper, Harrison Cullen, end up super-powered rivals. Who are you picking in the draft to be your sidekick to thwart your nemesis?
It's a hell of a question.
Probably like Arvell Reese, just with how athletic he is. I'm taking like the most athletic guy who's also big as possible. Caleb Banks, if he didn't have a foot issue.
I was going to say, I'd probably take Dominique Orange.
Dominique Orange is a good one.
He may not be the best defensive tackle in this draft. He is big and
Caden Proctor.
Caden Proctor's a good one.
He's athletic for his size, too.
Yeah.
Those are a few. I'm trying to think.
What
Sonny Styles.
What superpowers do Harry and I have? Because that might change things.
Yeah. We might need a speed element to this
Exactly.
offense.
Yeah, this would be all power.
Yeah, are we taking Brennan Thompson? He can be our flash.
We got a 1940s offense going up against a 1950s defense.
Yeah.
In the superpower battle right now.
That's funny. Good hypothetical. TJ says, to be fair, the Bears were a QB graveyard for years. This goes back to the field. Yeah, but like, this is his 4th team. I mean, Pittsburgh let him go. I know the Jets are kind of like the Bears historically. They don't develop quarterbacks. But that's kind of why I've said, like, if the Chiefs can't further develop him, I think we have to all acknowledge at this point that, like, he's not going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, you never say never. As long as you're in the league, you have a chance, I suppose. But if, like, this experiment with the Chiefs happens, and again, he's not going to start there unless Mahomes isn't healthy, but if he doesn't get an opportunity somewhere after the Chiefs because things didn't go well in Kansas City, I think it's just like it's kind of over at that point.
Yeah. All right. Andrew Billings, I think we'll have to just verbally mention. I'm not sure what Sam's doing right now, but just a heads up because I know we're talking about it in the next segment. Just a heads up.
We're talking about Billings in the next. Oh, I'll just verbalize it. Yeah. I gotcha. That's fine.
Just a heads up there, but guys, some more draft content. Oh, we'll get to this super chat whenever it loads in. Bears draft targets after week 1 of NFL free agency.
Let's go.
It's coming our final segment.
It's coming up.
Should be a fun one. You get the super chat load in from TCB King. He says, Harrison, what do you think of the Bears hosting Rutgers quarterback
Ethan Kaliakmanis?
Yeah, on a pre-draft as a possible Bagent replacement.
Yeah, I could see the Bears adding a UDFA or like using a 7th on a QB. I know they met with Cole Payton at the Combine. Baron Morton they had an informal meeting with. So, like, they'll probably add someone that they can put on the practice squad. And then if they're forecasting that Bagent gets traded next year, I'd be shocked if he got traded at this point this year. I think that ship has probably sailed. But I think they're probably thinking, okay, Bagent's probably not going to be here beyond this season. They'll probably trade him in a year. So bring in a guy you can put on the practice squad and, develop as a QB2, QB3 type. So they'll probably add someone to the mix for the offseason. TCB King, what do you think of the Bear? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was an Illinois native, by the way. As far as Kaliakmanis specifically, he was pretty bad at Minnesota, but then he was kind of good at Rutgers. I mean, let me just pull up his numbers here. He's got pretty good size. I think he's 6'4 or 6'5". Let's see, 6'4", 205. This year completed 62% of his passes, 3,100 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks. Certainly not bad numbers for a Rutgers quarterback. Played with Kyle Monangai for a year because he was Rutgers QB last year too. So, yeah, I mean, again, UDFA, 7th rounder at most type of guy. So they'll probably add somebody into the mix at some point. I would guess probably a UDFA, but, yeah, you never know. You never know.
All righty. We will get in to the final segment here momentarily.
Dude. There is so much happening here.
Oh, yeah, what Chugs is. Dude, it is.
I love the guy, but that is
a lot.
That's incredible.
That is a lot.
There is so much going on.
Imagine just like you're on your phone, you're just kind of casually scrolling, and you're just.
It would catch my attention.
It would.
Maybe Enough to click? I don't know.
Maybe it's a best practice.
I don't know. I do not know. All right, let's get into this last segment here. I'm Harrison Graham on Chicago Bears Now. We're going to take a look at some updated Bears draft targets following the first week of NFL free agency. Lots of players have been added and subtracted for all teams, including the Bears. And I want to take kind of a fresh look at things as the draft becomes the primary focus. Certainly could see an addition or two in the free agent market or trade. Certainly could see a player or two departure as well. Andrew Billings got signed by the Cardinals on Monday, for example. But let's just catch everybody up on what the Bears did in the first week of free agency. Obviously starting with the Garrett Bradbury trade to help plug that hole at center. They bring back Daniel Hardy and DeMarco Jackson. They add a rotation defensive tackle in Neville Gallimore. Kobe Bryant, one of the big signings at safety. Devin Bush at linebacker. Case Keenum's back. Braxton Jones is back. Cleve Raymond comes over from Detroit, a receiver that Ben Johnson and Antoine Randall are familiar with. Cam Lewis and Kadavius Street as well. And then Elijah Hicks on a 1-year deal. Jedrick Wills and Jordan McFadden. Love both signings. McFadden, quality backup guard. Wills, high ceiling type of play, no guaranteed money though, so he'll have a chance to compete at left tackle. And then the most recent addition the Bears have made, really just a re-signing, Jalen Jones, back on a 1-year deal, one of your top special teams players. Certainly like that. As far as departures go, obviously they traded DJ Moore to Buffalo. Olamide Zaccheaus signed with Atlanta. The Texans signed Dominique Robinson. The Giants picked up Tremaine Edmonds. Nashawn Wright headed to the Jets. Atlanta also added Chris Williams. Kevin Byard signed with the Patriots. Durham Smythe heading to Baltimore. C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Bills. The Steelers signed Jaquan Brisker. The Colts brought in Jonathan Owens. Devin Duvernay to the Cardinals, and Andrew Billings to the Cardinals as well. So this is kind of my raw updated rankings of the Bears' top needs. I think you could debate the top 3. From a literal standpoint, it's probably safety because you only have one starter right now. I don't think you want Elijah Hicks starting. I like him as a backup, but not as a starter. But, in a big picture, I still think improving that defensive line is needed. So defensive tackle 1, edge rusher 2, safety 3. Again, those are kind of 1A, 1B, 1C. I'm going to go corner 4. Long term, I think there's question marks around Jalen Johnson. Short term, is Tyreek Stevenson a guy they want to go to war with at CB2? I'd be open to it. I'm not sure the Bears are. Do they like the other guys in that room? I think they add a corner at some point. I still think center, you got a guy for this year in Bradbury, but I think they're going to look to add there. Linebacker still a need. I think you have enough for now that you don't have to force the issue there, but you could still look to add a piece. Left tackle, again, I think they're probably rolling with what they got, but if the right guy is available at the right time in the draft, they could still take one. Running back, bit long term, is still a need. This year you're probably fine, but you still could add one. Tight end after Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet, you need a third guy in there. And then wide receiver, not a major need, but if there's a guy you really like, you could certainly bring someone in after trading DJ Moore. What do you guys think is the Bears' biggest need right now? I think literally at this moment you'd have to say safety, but I still think just improving the defensive line as a whole is something I think is the biggest need overall. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. So we'll take a look at some day 2 draft targets. We'll go quicker on those, but I want to spend some time on some guys the Bears could take in the first round at 25 overall. I think Oregon safety Dillon Thieneman is the top guy right now. Number 1, I don't think he gets to 25, but if he does, I kind of think it's a no-brainer pick. The Bears are looking to get faster in their secondary. He checks that box. Ran a 4.35. You watch 4.35. You watch him on tape. He flies around. He's willing to play in the box. He could play deep safety. I think he could give you some reps at nickel if needed. He's had good ball production throughout his career. He's played in the Big Ten for 3 years, 2 years at Purdue, 1 at Oregon. The testing was off the charts. I think he just checks a lot of boxes. He fills a starting need right away. You put him next to Kobe Bryant. Those are your starting safeties. Elijah Hicks is your third safety, with a guy like Cam Lewis as a safety 4 nickel hybrid type of player. I think that's more than formidable, and it's definitely more athletic than what you had at safety last year. I think a Bryant, Thieneman, Kyler Gordon kind of safety nickel trio would be electric because they're all interchangeable. They can all do different things. You can line up those guys in the box. You can have them backpedal. They can play man-to-man coverage. So I think that would give Dennis Allen just a lot of interchangeable pieces that can do some different things, can give you some different disguised looks, which we know is a staple of a Dennis Allen defense. Okay, number 2, I'll go Akheem Mesidor. There's certainly some concern overall, but I think just his 2025 tape, if you're just talking about the player we saw this year, I think he was one of the best players in college football. I've said it multiple times. I think at times he was actually better than Ruben Bain. Now, he certainly benefited from playing across from Ruben Bain, but I also think Ruben Bain benefited from playing across from Akheem Mesidor. He's one of the best players I saw in college football. If you ask me, Harrison, how many players were just better pure college football players than Akheem Mesidor this year? I'd have a tough time getting to double digits. Now, I think the statistics back that up. The tape backs that up. I think the grades back that up. But the age and the injury history are real concerns. He will turn 25 before week 1 this year. He has been beaten up in multiple seasons throughout his collegiate career. So, that's probably why he could fall to you at 25. He may or may not, but if he was 22 and didn't have a rich injury history, he's probably a top 10 lock. He's that good of a player. So I think in a draft like this that's not crazy strong, once you get to the latter part of the first round, I would be comfortable taking Akheem Mesidor. Whether or not the Bears do, that remains to be seen. Because, again, when you take a guy in the first round, ideally you want to give him a second contract. Well, he'll be turning 30 after his rookie contract. So is he getting a second deal? All these things factor in when teams are drafting, especially high up in the draft. Okay, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is my third guy here. Going into the NFL Combine, it was Caleb Downs for me as safety one by a decent margin. And then Emmanuel McNeil-Warren and Dillon Thieneman were kind of 2A, 2B. I actually leaned EMW, but it was very close. I think Thieneman's testing has elevated him just a little past McNeil-Warren, but I still think they're close. I think when you factor in the testing and one guy playing in the Big Ten, the other guy playing in the MAC, I will give Thieneman the edge. I do think McNeil-Warren, his size gives him a better chance to be better in run support than Dillon Thieneman, but both these guys are willing tacklers in the box. I'm not too worried about the small school thing with EMW. One, Toledo has pumped out a lot of pros in recent years, including Quinyon Mitchell, who became one of the best corners in the league basically right away. They've had some other pros as well. And McNeil-Warren, I think, again, one of these hybrid safeties that can play in the box. He's a good enough athlete to play kind of laterally. He can backpedal. You can play him in man-to-man situations, match him up on tight ends. So I do like him a lot. Didn't athletically test as well as Dillon Thieneman, but still tested good enough. I think at 25 overall, he's still a player that the Bears could certainly take. I'll lean Thieneman due to the testing and the big school versus small school conversation, but other than that, I mean, both these guys I think are really, really good prospects worthy of taking in the first round. All right, get yourself some Bears Now merch, T-shirts, hoodies, hats. It's all available. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. I know a lot of you guys have gotten some merch already, but if you haven't, check it out. I still think the Iceman gear is as good as any item we've put out at this entire company. Highly recommend that. The beer stuff is cool as well. The little bear claw subtleness and the R and the S. St. Patrick's Day celebration might be over, but you can rock this stuff year-round in Chicago. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. It's all available. Anything you're seeing on screen is at that link. It can be found below, plus some other items as well. Click and shop today. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. Okay, number 4, I'll go Peter Woods. I've cooled on him. I wonder if the Bears have cooled on him. I still don't think it would be a bad pick at 25. I do think he checks a lot of Dennis Allen boxes. He's a lighter defensive tackle. He's quick. He can give you some pass rush upside. We've seen those flashes at Clemson. But two things that concern me with Woods. Number one, I thought this year was maybe his worst year overall at Clemson. His sophomore year, he was awesome. His freshman year, he wasn't like an every down. Didn't play a crazy amount, but when he played, he was pretty damn good. This year, he was good, but not great. He just did not stand out as much to me for a guy who was a preseason top 10 pick. And you couple that with not great athletic testing, which we know matters to Ryan Poles. Not horrible, but not great. I don't really care that he didn't run the 40. It is a defensive tackle, but I think when your other testing isn't great, I won't call that a red flag. Maybe it's more of a yellow flag. And look, the tape matters the most, but again, this year wasn't his best year. So, like, is something missing? Did he play banged up? I don't know. It's just, to me, heading into this season, if you told me, hey, the Bears are going to have the 25th pick and they're going to take Peter Woods, I'd be like, oh, my God, how did they get a top 10 player at 25? And now it's kind of like, well, that's kind of his range now. Like, he's probably a mid-late day one, early day two guy. Again, I'd be fine with it. I think it'd be a good pick, but I've cooled on these defensive tackles that could go in the first round a little bit. I'd almost rather catch that next group of guys in the second round. And then I'll go Keldric Faulk at number 5. Like, to me, out of these 5, 1, 2, and 3 is a tier up from 4 and 5. But I do like Keldric Faulk. I do think he checks a lot of boxes. I think Auburn asked him to do some weird stuff this year. He was, again, a common theme with a lot of the players in this draft is they were better in 2024 than 2025. So I don't know what to make of that with some of these guys. Is it just, teams like Auburn and Clemson underachieve, so do these players just kind of check out? I don't know. Obviously, football character matters a lot, especially to the Bears. Poles has talked about that a lot over the years. And the opinions around Faulk are very wide-ranging. Dane Brugler has him as a top 15 player in this draft. Daniel Jeremiah has him as his 32nd ranked player in his most recent big board. That's a pretty big difference. That's a top half of the first round guy versus a fringe first round pick grade for someone else. Now, for the Bears, he checks a lot of boxes. 6'6", 275, long arms, big hands, can set the edge in the run game. He's a physical defensive player. You could probably kick him inside some if you want to. So from a Dennis Allen fit standpoint, there's a lot there. So I think at 25 overall, I think it would be a good pick. There's guys I like better here. Certainly guys I like worse. Like I'd rather take him than Caden McDonald, who I don't think, projects to be a good pass rusher as a defensive tackle. He's a guy that's been mocked to the Bears a lot. So, again, those 5 guys stand out to me as like, hey, if you get one of these 5 guys at 25, I would rather have Thieneman than Faulk, but it's more likely Faulk is there than Thieneman, which is why the order is the order. Some other guys that would be interesting at 25. I don't think Jermod McCoy gets there. That's why I didn't include him in the first 5. I don't think Thieneman gets there either, but I think he's more likely than McCoy. If for some reason McCoy fell there, corner's not a top need, I'd be pretty tempted. I think that guy could be a star at corner. Caden McDonald, again, I think the floor is pretty high. I don't like his pass rush upside. I didn't see much of it at all out of Ohio State. TJ Parker, it's similar to Keldric Faulk. I put them in a similar light. Faulk's a little bit bigger. I think could kick inside some. I'm not sure Parker could. That's why I give Faulk the edge. Avion Terrell's an interesting guy. He could play nickel or outside. Could you get kind of groovy and play him at nickel, move Kyler Gordon to safety? That's a lot of moving parts, but I do think he's a good prospect. And then Zion Young, similar to TJ Parker, similar to Zion Young, run-setting edges that play with power, need to add more pass rush arsenal to become like a dominant pro, but I think all 3 of those guys could be good edge rushers in the NFL. Okay, who is your dream Bears draft target at number 25 overall? Like, who are you pounding the table for? Like, to me, like, Thieneman is kind of the dream at this point because I think most people think he'll be gone. You plug him in next to Kobe Bryant, and then you attack the D-line on day 2. But you guys let me know. Speaking of day 2, let's take a look at some day 2 targets, then we'll get out of here. Could Lee Hunter get to you at 57 after poor testing? If he could, that would be a home run. I love A.J. Halsey in that second-round cluster. I'm not sure he falls that far, but if he does, I love it. I'm a big denied Dennis-Sutton fan. If you guys watch the show, physical edge rusher who I do think has enough twitchiness to his game. Jacob Rodriguez, I don't think he falls there, but some people still think he does. If he does, that's a great pick. Anthony Hill, I think, would be a good option at linebacker, too. Davison Igbinosun, I do think, has some man-to-man press coverage corner skills that Dennis Allen is looking for. 6'2", ran well at the combine as well. Gabe Akis, 6'3", 260, 33-inch arms. I think he passed the physical requirements DA is looking for, so maybe he's in play. Jake Golday at linebacker is another linebacker option. Kamari Ramsey, interchangeable safety, can play both spots. And then Malachi Lawrence, who tore up the combine. I do wonder if he's worked his way into this day 2 range as well. And then some third-round guys at 89 overall. Grayson Halton, kind of an undersized D-tack, which a lot of DA defensive tackles are in that 290 to 305 range. He falls right in there, has some pass rush upside out of Oklahoma. Derek Moore, big physical edge out of Michigan. Zakee Wheatley, Bud Clark, Genesis Smith at safety. I think they're all in that third-round range if they wait until this point to take a safety. Dante Corleone, Darrell Jackson. I don't know if the Bears will view the Corleones, the Dominic Oranges of the world, as scheme fits, but I do know they met with Corleone at the Combine. Malik Muhammad, maybe this is the early part of his window, but I like him at corner. Then a couple of centers, Jake Slaughter and Sam Heck. I think this could be the starting point of when the Bears would consider drafting a center, depending on what they did with their earlier picks. All right, there you have it. Some updated draft targets for the Bears following NFL free agency. Give me your thoughts down in the comment section below. My name is Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button and bear down. All righty, kids. We are about to get out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Still balling out, week 2 of free agency. We'll see if the Bears make another move. Adios, Andrew Billings. Best of luck. Any final thoughts?
Billings. Listen, I think it'll be, gosh dang it.
Nah. Take a drink.
Take a drink. I think this day 2 conversation is going to get really interesting for the Bears, along with the round 1 conversation. But LaCour is right. No boom today. Pretty rare. We're very thankful for that being the case, but that is true.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay. Good steady flow of questions. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we'll be
Rodriguez
back Thursday live, so more to come.
I'm going to try between now and Thursday to really sell Harry on Jacob Rodriguez at 25.
I mocked him there. I just think what they did in free agency, again, it would have to be a true BPA situation.
Yeah. Him or
I love Rodriguez.
If both the safeties are gone, which that could be a possibility.
Definitely could be.
Him and Devin Bush for the next 3 years.
Be fun. I like him a lot. I wouldn't have mocked him in the first round if I didn't.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to the chat. You guys are real. We'll have videos tomorrow, Wednesday. We'll be live Thursday. Unless there's major breaking news, then we'll be live before then. But if not, we will see you guys live on the channel Thursday, 4 o'clock. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys then. Peace.